Before we get into this video, a quick disclaimer. The thing that I'm making today is really cool, but it's also really dangerous. So whatever you do, please God, do not try this at home, okay? All right, let's get into it. This is the grapple shot from Halo Infinite. In game, you can grapple shot to swing from the rafters, you can use it to grab items and weapons, and even this. Yeah, the grapple shot, pretty cool. But what could be more cool than using this thing in game? Well, probably making one in real life, right? Samsung has challenged me to do just that. In this video, I am making a real life functioning grapple shot from Halo Infinite. Thank you to Samsung for sponsoring this video. Today, we make a grapple shot from Halo Infinite, but not just one that looks the part. We are making a grapple shot that is actually going to be functional. Well, at least that's the plan. And to help with this project, Samsung sent me a 4K Neo QLED TV, and my God, this thing is amazing. This TV is going to be crucial in helping me make this grapple shot as accurate as possible. To make this thing functional, I will not be altering any of the design of the grapple shot. So that means all the things that will be needed to make this thing functional will have to be small enough to fit within the grapple shot itself. And that, my friends, is going to be a challenge. By focusing on accuracy as the goal here, I think that is going to put a limit on how functional this thing can actually be. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. As always here at Impact Props, our goal is to make this thing look like it jumps straight out of the game, and we are going to 100% be doing that. And I'm pretty confident we'll be able to make this thing shoot too. So with that said, how are we gonna make this thing? First things first, we need to create the shell of the grapple shot. And with the help of my friend Vec 3D, we were able to create this incredible model. You did good, Vec, you did good. And from there, I exported the file and printed it on my Formlabs Form 2. Now you know I love this printer precisely because of how accurate and beautiful these prints come out. Resin printing is the best. I mean, look at these parts. Okay, now that we have our 3D printed pieces complete, it is time to put a pin in it and focus on how we're gonna make this thing shoot. Now the struggle here is finding components that are gonna be small enough to fit inside this grapple shot. So I did some digging and it looks like our top two choices are spring powered and CO2 powered. And I think for this, our best choice is CO2. So what do we need to make a CO2 propelled grapple shot? First, we need something to act as the electronic trigger. For this, I'm using a CO2 solenoid. Now hooked up to this solenoid are these small little CO2 canisters. So we've got something that kind of looks like this. I'll be hooking up a series of AA's to create 12 volts. And to actuate this thing, I'll be using a little switch here as a trigger. So it's really as easy as that. But what's not easy is the fact that we have to cram all of this inside that grapple shot. I don't know if you can tell, but this ain't gonna fit. So there are two ways that I tried to tackle this problem. First, I replaced the solenoid with something much smaller. But even with this new smaller solenoid, there's no way I'm gonna fit a solenoid, CO2 canister, and 12 volts of AA's. There's just no room to fit all of this stuff. So my next solution was to print something bigger. And this is the new print, which is big enough to hold the CO2 canister and the solenoid valve, but there's no way all those AA's are gonna fit, let alone a retrieval method. So at this point in the project, I do not see a way to include a shooting mechanism and a retrieval mechanism in this small of a thing. With the resources I have, I just don't see a way to include the retrieval method in this project. So regrettably, I'm gonna have to put a pin in that. Now I'm focusing 100% on how to get all of these shooting components within this grapple shot. And then I had some sort of epiphany. What if I've been looking at this all wrong? So this grapple shot is meant to sit on top of a forearm, right? What if we were able to put the majority of the components within the forearm gauntlet itself? That way we wouldn't have to shove everything in the grapple shot, everything would be way more spaced out and it would really look the part, right? That way we'll still be able to use the smaller grapple shot, everything will fit together as it should. So all put together, this is what our final CO2 actuating system looks like. And there we have it. This is a pretty cool system if I do say so myself. Compact and powerful. Well, at least in theory. Maybe we should do some tests right now before we go any further, okay? Okay, this thing is dangerous.
Closest hospital? How close is this?
Oh, it's pretty close actually. Right next to where the Dollar General was. I trust him.
We've already tested this thing out at point blank. Now it's time for us to test its range.
I'm definitely gonna shoot it. I'm definitely gonna shoot it.
I hope I don't die. I don't want you to die either, man. So safety, trigger, okay.
All the way in. Slingshot, engage.
Hey!
Very accurate.
This thing has some insane muzzle velocity, and it can shoot decently far, but there was a noticeable lack of power when shooting at long distances, and I think we can improve on this.
Call Elon. Yeah, I bet Elon probably has some like.
Is your friend? Is your buddy?
You know, if you
works there.
maybe not.
I'm friends with this stuff. Okay. So liquid CO2 has a pressure of right around 800 psi, which should be way more than enough. I don't think pressure is our issue here. I think it's our seal. So I used some Teflon tape to wrap around the bolt and give it as close as a seal as I could possibly get. Let's see how far this thing can go now. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that was definitely our problem. A little bit of Teflon tape can go a long way, huh? There it is. I don't know, I'm really excited. I'm happy with the range now. This was the last hurdle to figure out to make this thing functional. If you've noticed, I haven't really showed you too much here, so stay tuned to the end of the video to see exactly how this thing works. All right, now that we have this thing shooting, it is time to turn this raw 3D print into a fully finished grapple shot. Comparing the print to the screenshots here, we are looking super good. Now it's up to me to smooth this print out and paint it the way that it's meant to be painted. The first step is to remove all the 3D print lines. I'll be using a lot of sandpaper and this stuff called filler primer to fill in all those print lines.
Slowly dragging, it sure is dragging me down. I'm almost tagging the ground when I hear that blue drag. Slowly drag. I love that new lazy swing. I crave that new crazy swing. I must have that blue drag. Oh, slowly drag. It sure is dragging me down. I'm almost tagging the ground when I hear that blue drag. Slowly drag. I love that new lazy swing. I crave that new crazy swing. I must have that blue drag.
Next, it's time to paint, and this is my favorite part of the whole project. So looking at the reference pictures here, we have 3 different types of metal finish. Number 1, we have the darkest, the main body is a little bit lighter, and then we have the silver accents along the sides and top. So to achieve the 2 darker tones, we're gonna use this stuff called Alumoluster. If you're going for a metal finish, Alumoluster is the way to go. Now the trick here with Alumoluster is the following. First, we gotta have a black base coat, then we use automotive clear coat to create a gloss finish, then we apply the Alumoluster, and then we coat it again with clear coat. It's a pretty long process because you gotta wait for this stuff to cure before you go on to the next step. But once you see the sheen that this Alumoluster creates, it is absolutely gonna be worth the wait. And that is what we're doing right now. Wild ride this project has been. We finally have a finished grapple shot, and look how beautiful this thing looks. Alumoluster on top. I'm very happy with how this thing turned out. The only thing here is that the grapple shot is sitting on top of our current Halo 5 Master Chief Gauntlet. But don't worry, we're gonna incorporate this into our Master Chief Infinite suit, which is currently in the works. But now is the time where we test, does this thing just look cool or does it actually work? Well, we're about to find out right now. Just a quick overview on how this thing works. We have a safety right here. Once this safety is flipped, it can now be fired, and this is the trigger. This is why this thing is super dangerous, because there is absolutely a potential for me to shoot my own hand if I'm stupid and, you know, shoot it like this, right? So I'm not gonna do that. Oh yeah! Did I mention don't try this at home, kids? Test number 1, right, everybody? Right, everybody? Yeah! Right, everybody? Grapple shot has been armed. Firing in 3, 2, 1. All right, I gotta do better at aiming, but I think we're good. I'm very happy with that. This broadhead is very freaking scary. There's a reason why we have broadhead today, because we're about to have some fun. Hey, Chief, it's your turn. Well, I've learned a lesson today. You know, I'm really happy right now. I am covered in orange soda right now, but I couldn't be more happy. The grapple shot works, it looks the part, and it's super dangerous. Looking back when we shot that orange soda, that bolt came right back. So counting my blessings today, don't do this at home, children. Okay, so we were in Kansas City for Thanksgiving. I brought the grapple shot to show my family. This is Matt.
Oh no, your gauntlet.
It's broke.
I think it's pretty sick. It's pretty heavy.
How's it feel?
Like my jacket's bunched up.
Oh, good.
This is my mom. Say hi to my mom. Have you been on this channel before?
I have, but you were a wee lad.
A wee lad.
Here we go.
Powerful energy. I like that.
It's out now. Where'd it go?
Right here.
So do you think this is a viable
Oh yes, certainly. Absolutely. This can grapple you to the highest heights.
Yeah.
Or the lowest lows.
This video has been absolutely awesome. I'm very satisfied with how this thing looks. The broadheads on this thing are super freaking crazy. I wouldn't have guessed that this grapple would have gone through as many things that it did today. I chalked this up as a 100% win. We were able to achieve the functionality of this thing without changing the design, without changing the size. It looks the part and it plays the part. What more could you ask for? Well, maybe one thing you could ask for is a retrieval system. I'm slightly disappointed that we weren't able to include that on this project here, but maybe we would on a future project. If you would like to see that function included on this grapple shot, leave a comment below, let me know what you think. And a huge shout out to the Samsung Neo QLED TV. As you saw, this TV was super instrumental in helping me create this thing as accurate as I possibly could. The colors, the clarity, I was really able to see every single detail that was on this grapple shot. So a huge shout out to Samsung for sponsoring this video and challenging me to create a real life grapple shot. And speaking of the Samsung Neo QLED TV, they are actually going to be giving away one of these TVs to you. Check out my description for more information on that. This TV is awesome. I'm so excited to play Halo Infinite on it. So on that note, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me make this real life grapple shot from Halo Infinite. I will see you in the next one.